Have you ever wondered what it's like minutes after a tornado hits your house? My name is John Edlin. I'm a tornado survivor, and this is my story of what it was like after a tornado hit our house back in March 3rd, 2020. My hope is that this video gives you some idea of what tornado victims go through after this. I know before the tornado hit, I love tornadoes. I actually still love tornadoes, but I was always like tempted after a tornado hit somewhere around the community. I wanted to go and I wanted to take pictures because it's just this incredible thing that happens that you just don't see every day, and the damage and destruction is just mind blowing. And so I remember, gosh, like probably 15 years before a tornado hit my house, that one had kind of gone probably 3 or 4 blocks down the road from us, and I got my camera out and I went and took pictures. And now looking back, I wish that I wouldn't have, because now I know what it's like to be the tornado victim and to try to process all this is happening. And then there's people coming around taking pictures. I mean, if that's your thing and you do that, that's okay. I understand, but like maybe rethink that and focus more on the people than about getting some pictures that look really cool for your photo album, right? So let me walk you through so you can get a full understanding of what a tornado victim is experiencing right after the tornado. 1 a.m. tornado goes over our house. We hunkered down in the hallway. I had about 3 minutes before the tornado hit to get the family in the hallway, the innermost part of the house. We didn't have a basement, so this is away from all the windows. We hunkered down, and this thing goes right over us. I mean, it is sucking us back and forth in between these two doors, where I just know they're going to give way, and eventually I'll be sucked out, and I'm going to die. So I have this near-death experience, but then it just stops, and there's so much smell of like propane and wood and dirt and just chaos in your head of what's going on. Although everybody was silent. My 5-year-old and 7-year-old were silent. My wife was silent, because we were all just in shock. Like, what just happened? What just happened? And so I stood up and I looked at everybody's feet, and nobody had shoes on. So we needed to get shoes because there was glass everywhere. So I opened up the door to my kids' bedrooms to get their shoes, and this is what I see. This is a picture that I took just minutes after the tornado, and I think I took it because I was trying to process what happened. I think I was like, I need to take a picture of this, because if I don't take a picture of this, it's not real. And I want to go back and study what I think I saw versus what I actually saw. And when I took this picture, this is actually what I saw. Orange sky, and ceilings gone, walls gone. The neighborhood was completely flattened. And I just remember looking at my family and saying, okay, their room's gone. Like, this is not safe. We're not in a safe place. Everything's gone. So I call 911, and it's busy. And I call my cousin, and he's not picking up because it's the middle of the night. And then I called my dad, who lives in Kansas City, and he picked up the phone. And I said, Dad, we were hit by a tornado. Can you please call cousin Jamie to come and get us? Jamie only lived 15 minutes down the road, and I knew that he could come and pick us up, but we had to get a hold of him. So my dad said, okay, I'll call Jamie over and over until he picks up. And he did. And Jamie finally picked up, texted me, hey, I'm on my way. But it didn't take him 15 minutes. It took him 3 hours to get there. So my family and I, 5 and 7-year-old, kids who are trying to stay awake and just a little confused on what's going on, we're trying to figure out what the next steps are. When Jamie even gets here, what do we do, right? We get in his car, but what kind of things do we need? So we're looking for the wallet. I would say we're looking for keys to the car, but both of our cars were smashed by a gigantic tree, so that wouldn't be super helpful. Also, didn't really need keys to get into the house because, as I mentioned, there were no walls, so it'd be pretty easy to get into the house again when we needed to. But we started to think through some things that we could take, like extra pair of clothes, some hygiene products, some coats, and that type of thing. But the problem is, when we went to look for those things, they were gone. They were scattered all over the house. So there really wasn't much to take. We found a leash for the dog because that was super important, and we knew we were going to have to make this journey through our driveway, which was enough because there was tons of trees everywhere. But it looked like we were going to have to walk quite a ways to be able to get to the place where even my cousin parked. So we get a text from my cousin who said, hey, I'm here. I was only able to get close enough for like 3 blocks. I'll start walking your way. And I said, great, we'll start walking your way too. So we start walking, and I'm holding my 5-year-old, and I'm holding the leash to my dog's collar, and then my wife is holding my 7-year-old daughter, and we are walking over power lines and over down trees, trying to get to Jamie's car. And as we're walking up there, I notice there's a group of 3 people who are walking down with their camera, taking pictures. And I'm so thankful they did not take a picture of us. That was not a moment where I wanted a picture of our family. We were in survival mode, and I do appreciate that they did not take those pictures. And I don't know who they were. They were obviously, someone who just wanted to document what had happened. They weren't neighbors, from what I remember. I think they were just some people who heard our neighborhood got hit, and for some reason at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. by that time we're willing to get up and take pictures. But there was no fire truck that came. There was no ambulance. There was no one who came to our neighborhood, and it was completely silent. It was completely dark, and honestly, just an awful experience. So when you hear about a tornado going through a community and you want to go and take pictures, maybe rethink that. When you hear about a community that's been hit by a tornado and you're around that community, go there and love on them, help them, do anything you can to be with them. Don't add extra stress. Their mind is completely filled up with all sorts of stuff already that they have to think through. So don't add anything to it. Just be there to be a giver, to be someone who helped. And honestly, we went to my cousin's house and couldn't get any sleep. The kids did get to go to sleep, which was good for them that they were sleeping. But I was up just trying to figure out what the next steps were, how to get a car to get back to the house. And we had friends who were very generous and loaned us their car. We had whole groups of people who showed up at our house and helped us dig out and help us rebuild our lives. And so I'm very grateful for those people. And I hope that you hear this message loud and clear, that when there is a tornado in your community, go to help. Don't think about yourself. Think about those people who have been victims. And I guarantee you, you will feel full from doing that. But even more importantly, the tornado victims will feel full as well. Thanks for listening today. And if you want to hear more about my tornado survival story, here's a couple videos that I made on it. And then also, I'm super passionate about tornado go bags, getting everybody prepared for this tornado season coming up. I started a company called Edlin Tornado Shelters that helps people find the shelter that they need, because my family did not have the shelter that they needed. But then also gives education and help in building a tornado go bag, this tornado season. So check those things out and drop any notes or questions or comments that you have in the comment section, and have a great day.